Hey everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I got with me Elijah today. How's it going, man?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yep, you're
It's
there.
going. It's
You
going,
froze.
going.
Yep, it's going.
Yeah,
It's
can you hear
going.
me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You're
things
okay.
are going. It's getting by.
Yeah, yep. That's all we can do right now. It's like kind of crazy. You caught up with anything? You've been watching anything recently, or any movies or any shows?
Squid Games just came out, so I watched all the
Okay,
Squid Games in one day,
all right.
season three.
Keep it spoiler free. I haven't had the chance to catch up. I've
Yeah,
been
I know
really
you haven't
busy
watched it
with
yet.
stuff.
I mean, I watched it all in one
Yeah.
day. I was kind of knew it was coming,
Mm-hmm.
so like
How many
started it in
episodes
the
is
morning.
in this
Six,
last season? Six. Okay.
6 episodes.
All right. Okay.
Um,
How is
so
it?
it's really good. I mean, like I
Yeah.
like the Squid Game.
Concept.
I like it. I'm glad they're stopping. Well, there's a
The
hint to
American version is coming out though. They're going to start
right.
shooting the American version soon. Yeah.
Yes, and they a small. I mean, they kind of they uh, at the end. The end of at the very end. There's
Okay.
a
All right.
like
A hint or a.
a reference. Whatever. There's a hint to
Okay.
it starts. It
All right.
shows the start of it in America.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
bigger thing. But anyways,
Okay.
the I like it. I could see an American version of it now.
Right.
I'm glad they're not taking it further than this because
Yeah.
they did enough in it.
Right. Right.
But it's captivating. Like it makes me
Yeah.
want to keep watching it, which is the biggest
Okay.
thing for me with series shows because I really give up.
Yeah.
Most series shows, 9 out of 10 that I watch, like I don't. I after it
Fair enough.
after a good season, I'm like, okay, that's too much. So this
Right.
is ending like right at a good spot for me. Like
Okay.
I'm glad it's
That's good.
ending and they're not continuing
Yeah.
it with this, this
Yeah.
Korean storyline or whatever.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. It gets you. You're always like, oh, whoa, what's going to happen? You want to watch
Yeah.
every episode leaves you wanting to watch the next episode, which I guess is the
Yeah.
main point.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean,
I
I'm
like it.
wondering whether I'm wondering if any of the original showrunners are crossing over or at least supervising the American version because that would
Um,
be
I don't know.
it just it's there's I mean American TV takes over a show from overseas and sometimes
But
it
for
works and sometimes it doesn't, so
right,
but they're keeping it in the
but
world though.
yeah, I could
Okay.
see it. Just the idea alone, I could see it
Okay.
working even in different hands, and it probably be better for like just a purely U.S. like take
Right.
on it because um,
Look, that's all right. No, we'll talk about it in a
you
couple of
know
weeks' time. We'll
there
catch it
is
though.
some there is some.
Hmm.
I'm just saying there's some cultural additives or vibes to the series
Okay.
that make it kind of what it is. So through
Yeah.
an American prism, like the games would be different and the challenges would be different
Right.
because it's not under like a Korean game type of Squid Game
Gotcha.
is not an
Hmm.
American game.
No, it's a yeah,
So you know what I'm
totally
saying?
Korean.
So like the
Hmm.
hide and seek and like this
Yeah.
all those games like the
Right.
tag and all those things would be different under an
Right.
American uh,
Yeah.
basis or
I
whatever. So I could see it working.
Right. I mean, it'd be kind of fun to see if they ever shot something, overseas in Russia or, France or somewhere, just other countries around the world, and their version of it
That's what
is,
I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah,
That's why I think it
yeah.
could work. Like I
Hmm.
mean, if they go too far with it, obviously, like you can't
Right.
have every country doing
Yeah,
their own like
yeah. But the other thing with
Squid Game.
Netflix, they tend
You
to,
know,
yeah, Netflix tend to pick up a
beat it with a
series or
dead
a
horse.
genre.
They
Well,
just
no,
yeah,
actually, surprisingly not. Usually, Netflix are pretty good at ending a lot of their shows after 3 seasons, for the most
right.
part.
Yeah,
And the ones that do go on,
drag it out
things
too
like
long.
Stranger Things, kind of do. Yeah, you're right. It gets a bit whatever. But either
Yeah,
way, yeah.
yeah. Stranger
Um,
Things. Now
mhm.
they're adults and have mortgages and children. It's like
Yes,
they're too old. Stop.
exactly. Did you catch any movies or anything recently?
No. The last thing I saw in the theater was the Wes Anderson, the Phoenician
That's it.
Scheme. We
You
talked
talk.
about that.
Yeah, you talked
Um,
about it on Jason's
but
channel a little
I
bit.
have been rewatching some Superman animated series.
Oh, cool.
lately.
getting pumped for Superman.
Yeah, and just to see them again, like I
Hmm.
haven't watched them in so long.
Yeah,
Just how they play and like just to watch picking out the ones I remember, just watching
sure.
those,
Yeah,
not instead of watching all of the seasons or whatever. So just
yeah.
picking out a few
Fair enough.
episodes here and there just to see. I
Fair
don't know,
enough.
just
They're
loading in
fun.
some Superman before
James Gunn's
like
Superman.
12 days
Yeah,
time now or whatever it
I
is.
know.
Countdown.
I'm very excited. We're going to definitely talk about that a little bit pretty soon. Some more stuff on that. I checked out two movies recently, and I've talked a little bit about it on Jason's channel. But one of the films, Elio, which was
Oh, right.
the latest Pixar movie, and I know you're not a huge Pixar fan, but usually the quality of Pixar movies have been pretty good. I think the last one I thoroughly enjoyed was Coco, which is about the little Mexican kid
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
ends up by passing you know,
Afterlife.
into the afterlife kind of thing, which was a really just cool vibe. Loved it a lot. It had all the emotional beats there, but Elio didn't, and it's not doing well in the box office either. It just basically Pixar movies have kind of, I don't know, they haven't nailed that heart and that emotional status that they used to. If you take films like Wall-E and Up and all those moments in those
Right.
movies that had those
Right.
really gut wrenching, perfect moments of animation and story and great
Which
collaboration
they
and
were kind of
stuff.
known for. That's what Pixar was like,
Yeah,
tugging at the
yeah,
heartstrings for all
hmm
ages type thing.
yeah. But some of the more recent ones in the last couple of years, I just haven't been as connected with. It's not saying that the film was a bad movie. This is about a little kid who gets taken by space aliens and
Right.
ends up by connecting because he's just really an odd kid on this planet. And I related to parts of the story and the way they, you know, tried to lay it out, but it was a bit of a hot mess in the way everything came together. And I feel like it could have had the right if they spent just a little bit more time
Balance or
cleaning up
whatever.
the
It's,
script.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they might have been able to find that tweaking point because it had some moments where it could have had that really strong emotional beat, but for the most part, it just missed for me. And the other big one that I've seen now 4 times because I love the
Whoa.
franchise, How to Train Your Dragon. It's
Oh
now
my
just as
goodness.
of
4 times.
today. In 3 weeks of its release, two and a half, 3 weeks of its release, 450 million globally, and the budget was only 150 million dollars for the live action film. So it kind of proves that you can still make a big budget franchise under a low budget or lowish budget banner of you know of expenditures on a
Yeah.
film and still get something that is exceedingly good and surprisingly, you know, it took it's taken well at the box office. The soundtrack, same thing. John Powell did the music for it.
I mean,
There's
I
a
guess it
book.
helps that it's like all the people that did the animated. I mean, the director. It's the director knows
Yes,
it so well that
yes,
like,
oh yeah,
look, this we can make this. I can make this. All, two
yeah.
takes. Like I can make it. We could do it. Like I know everything that needs to
Right,
be done. So like,
but
that
the other,
backwards and forwards. It seems like an
yeah,
easy way to adapt it.
oh yeah, but the other. Hey there, Chris. How's it going? Um, Yeah, we're just talking about How to Train Your Dragon right now, Chris. But the one thing about the film was even the animated film was had a very few minimal set pieces. It only existed in certain areas. There was a bit of
Okay.
the forest. There was
Yeah. Yeah.
the main town. There was the
Minimal set
arena.
pieces.
So, in the sense of what they had to reproduce set wise, and they did, they built all these massive sets out of these locations, including some of the forest stuff. I've seen some great behind the scenes photos. So they kept it very simple, and really they only had to spend a little bit of background, visuals on some of the sky stuff and all that. And then, of course, the dragons, which were brilliantly done. You never saw any of them. See, that's the problem. People kind of look at the How to Train Your Dragon franchise as a real kids film, but it is one of those heartstring pulling freaking movies. Oh, maybe you don't like that, Chris. I don't know. But it was for me. It pulled the right emotions. It's the story about a kid and his pet dog. Like, it is that kind of story. It is really, really well done, except for the fact the pet dog is a dragon, and it's 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 it's
Except the dog is
clever.
a dragon.
Yeah, and I do.
You're in the whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do challenge people to watch it because it's does surprise you. You remember The Emperor's New Groove? Did you ever watch
Yes.
that? Okay, what
Yes.
did you think of that film?
I liked it. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah,
It's good.
I went into that movie having no appeal, no interest in seeing that film,
Right.
and it turned out to be one of my favorite Disney films of the time.
Right.
I absolutely just had a lot of fun with it. It was a blast. It was silly, it was fun, and it worked really well. This is obviously the kind of film that's not silly and fun. It's more like, serious tones and stuff like that. But
Right. It just works. You're just saying it all works. It all congeals. It
the
magically works.
yeah, it magically
Magically
works.
working movie. It's just like
Yeah,
everything works.
yeah, and then the How to Train Your Dragon film. It literally has all the right beats, and to do it live action and keep it in those same beats, and still be able to make 3 times the amount of money in 3 weeks than the production value. They've now hit profit at this point. It takes 3 times the amount of a movie's budget, between marketing and everything else before you start making profit. I think it is. So it's done that. It's great. Yeah, see, again, it's like there is a lot of people, a lot of adults that will say that it is no interest and not on their radar. And most of those animated films kind of are that. I agree. I really agree. There's stuff I've sat that I thought,
it's not that.
yeah, yeah,
Those movies have never been that like that. I have no interest in watching them. It's just like
right,
if I had kids, and I would totally watch these movies if I had
sure,
kids, and it
yeah,
was a family, and I was in a different situation. I would
yeah,
totally be watching them and be
oh
looking
yeah,
for the best ones for my kids to be watching. But
yeah,
because I'm just a single guy, I'm like,
yeah.
like
No, it's,
I don't need
I get
to
that
be
too.
watching
I'm a
this.
single guy, but
if I'm going to have the
I
option to watch something, I'm
yeah,
just not going. I know it's just we look for different sorts of entertainment. So if
oh
like
yeah,
I'm like looking for something to watch, I'm
yeah,
a family oriented like
right.
cartoon is not generally not what I'm going to go to just decide to watch.
I will go to watch it, but most of them, like when I saw the original animated film, it's I went in with no expectations. I thought it looked kind of cute, it looked kind of interesting. I'm a big fan of dragons and stuff like that, but I didn't have any expectations, and it blew my mind completely. And it only just accelerated from there with the movies.
I
So
know we know how much you love
yeah,
cartoons.
I know, I
Not new.
love it. Well,
This is not new.
anyway, there is the making of book that's coming out later this year, which I'm going to get. The soundtrack is fantastic. Once again, got that. Oh, shut up! Yes, I'm a man child. Yes, I know. Here, check this out, Chris, and Elijah.
Move
Check this
on.
out.
Let's move
This,
on from
this,
this
this.
dragon.
I know. Yeah,
Jeez.
Elijah. I'm moving on from the dragon, but Elijah.
Oh my gosh!
I
A robot
you.
cockroach here.
No,
A robotic cockroach is what he's talking about.
No, I know you're not a fan of episode 1, but this came in the mail yesterday, and it is the destroyer droid from
That's pretty
episode
cool.
1, and it
Is it fully like movable? Fully
completely, yeah.
transformable? Okay.
Well, that's the problem. I just dropped my my unboxing video yesterday, and I tried to get it into a ball. It took me about half an hour and editing, trying to figure out the instructions because they were not that easy to follow, and they even had a video online. I'm still like, I'm more afraid because they're delicate parts. I'm more afraid to break it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because it's still an expensive toy. Yeah, Chris, it is phenomenally beautiful. It is incredible, the
It's pretty
detail,
cool
the
again.
metallic,
Anything
the paint
that's
job. Yeah,
any sideshow
yeah.
hot toy, they're all amazing. Like even if I'm not
Yeah.
into whatever it is,
Oh, yeah.
like the craftsmanship and the
Yeah.
just what they have to go through to make that
Oh,
is
totally.
pretty crazy.
Well,
Tooling
apparently,
and every piece, and
Yeah.
it's just so much time and effort to put those things together.
apparently when Doug Chang designed the original, they digitally made it roll up to a ball and move forward, but physically it was not possible. the way they had designed it, and a lot of the little smaller action figures that came along also were not physically possible.
They
So
do that a
they
lot. I mean,
spend
that's
a
yeah,
lot of time trying to
yeah,
figure this out,
yeah.
trying to make that work. But it's yeah, I was like, oh, I've wanted one of these particular ones since the Kenner and Hasbro toys came out in the 90s, with the 12-inch figures, and they never made one of them as part of that set. So
Hmm.
the Destroyer cosplay, I actually have seen the Destroyer droid cosplay. Yeah, I actually have seen that. It's kind of crazy. I've seen video online of that. It's amazing how people just cosplay some cool shit. Yeah. Anyway, there's that. Let's talk about something that's 40 years old.
Oh
Back
yeah.
to the Future was
Oh
40.
yeah,
Wait, was it
baby.
last week that it turned 40,
No,
or was
coming
it?
up. Like I think
Oh,
on the
coming up.
third.
The
I
third
think
is
on
it?
the third.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me double check that while we're
Yeah.
talking. But I think it's
Yeah.
on the third.
There is lots of obviously 40th anniversary merch. Hey, look at that! They're re-releasing the Blu-ray set once again.
Again?
Yeah, a 40th anniversary set apparently. So as
With
part of
nothing new
the,
on it.
there's probably nothing new on it. Nothing I could tell. Yeah, all three. Yeah, all three movies plus a bonus disc. Sometimes they'll just edit little snippets of other
July 3rd.
stuff and all that. I don't know. July 3rd. Yeah. But then there's
Yeah.
also I mean, I'm not a huge Hot Wheels fan, but they're making a Twin Pines Mall.
Oh, they've done that before.
Yeah,
They've
this
had
one's
that. Yeah. That's
yeah, this
cool.
is the
Authorized.
40th anniversary kind of box that they're doing or something like that. But
That's, oh, go
no,
back to that. That's a cool box,
but,
though.
yeah.
I like that box.
Well,
I
even
bet it's
this,
really expensive, though.
I don't know. I
40
mean,
bucks at least. Is that in
maybe.
stores? In store or online
I
only?
honestly don't know. I went online and had a look. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I
I'd
haven't
have
really
to check
looked
and
up
see.
any like
Yeah,
40th
yeah, I
anniversary
haven't checked
merch.
it. There's a couple of things out there, but I mean, it's still crazy. Like, I really honestly don't think I saw the original film until it had a second run. I missed it on the first run because I lived in kind of like in the well, suburbs kind of thing, and most of the big movies played in the cities. So when Back to the Future
Hmm.
came out, I very distinctly remember seeing it in theaters when all three movies out there had a trilogy day, and I had the worst headache by
Oh,
the end of the film. But I actually watched all. This is back in Australia,
oh.
so
After,
yeah,
yeah, okay, that's
they
cool that they
ran them
do
back
that.
to back with each other, which was cool. But
That's something that my friend and I always wish they did.
mm,
You're like, why don't they just play all three?
yeah,
Because
no, that was
we would
fun.
sit
That
there all
was
day.
yeah, no, it was definitely fun. Um,
I
but
definitely
yeah,
remember seeing it in the, when it was in theaters during the first run. Like I remember that clearly.
yeah,
Like seeing that movie in the theater and like,
yeah,
mostly like seeing it in the theater and coming out of the theater like that was like,
right.
it was one of those movies that like, whoa, that was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely mind blowing. I know I saw it at some point later. As I said, it wasn't when the film originally released. I think it was on a re-release that I saw it in the theaters first, and then a few years later, Back to the Future 2 and 3 came out, and I watched the trilogy back to back with each other
Right.
after they'd all been released. But I mean, it's up there. It's one of my favorite. It's next to Star Wars and Indiana Jones for me.
Yeah,
It's
way up there.
they're my they're the comfort films in the sense of Back to the Future and it's still great to this day that you've got Michael J. Fox and
Well, all the
Christopher
cast, they're
Lloyd.
everyone's
Oh yeah,
still,
very active.
they're doing more than they ever have. To be
Yeah,
honest, like
yeah,
lately in the last couple of years, they're
yeah,
doing way more reunion, at
yeah,
cons, they're
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
appearances. Like they do it all the
yeah.
time now. For years, like
Hmm.
it was nothing. There
Yeah,
was nothing there. Like for
yeah,
me, it's like Back to the
yeah.
Future like became what it became even more beloved. Like in the last
Hmm.
like 20 years or whatever. Like it really after like
Yeah.
some licensing opened and they put it
I
on DVD and all that
I
stuff.
think
Like
I
there was
think
a
it
whole
was
new generation of people like,
yeah.
oh yeah, this is the
Hmm.
movie that I liked as a kid. You know?
Yeah, I think that I think that 2015 was such a big marketing year of wanting to, because of Back to the Future
For
2 and
sure.
that
And
time
that
period,
was,
and we'd
I
caught up
think
to that
that was
time.
kind of planned when they opened up a bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
licensing. So
Hmm.
before that, there wasn't a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. There
Yeah.
wasn't, a lot of figures. And
Yeah.
now, since then, been, 8-inch
Yeah.
figures, 12 inch cars, they've really
Hmm.
like expanded the
Yeah.
merch. Before it was just like Back to the Future, the ride,
Oh yeah.
and very minimal Back to the Future stuff.
Man,
So,
I love that ride so much. I miss that ride so much. That was
oh, I
still
know.
one of the
Me
best
too.
rides Universal ever did, in my opinion.
Me too.
It was so good. Um, yeah. What are the Back to the Future stuff? No Back to the Future Forges yet.
No, that's never coming.
Never. No, absolutely. It better
Never
never make that.
coming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Christopher
I could
Lloyd's
see
getting
them
up there
doing
too.
I mean, they've done a video game, but I could see them
Mm.
doing like a really like detailed, like you're playing the movie type of like time.
Right.
You're stuck between this, in the parameters of those timelines of years or
Mm.
whatever, and you have a game. I could see that like
Oh, is it
having
actual? Yeah.
some sort of game. They've done that before. It was like a
Yeah.
PC game that wasn't like more of like an animation
Gotcha.
type thing. But
Right.
and
Yeah.
the comic books they had released, and a few things like that,
I
cartoons,
never
that type
read
of
any
thing
of
to
the
work.
comics actually. Mm.
Some of them are good, some of them aren't. The
Right.
few like that they had, in the last 10 years, 20 years, or whatever. No, last
Right.
10 years came out.
Yeah.
Um, they're good. Some are really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. We'll jump into some of the little side news. There's not like any major news, so we're just kind of rambling today. But Mel Brooks turned 99. When you see a photo like
Woo!
this, you think, "Oh shit, is he died?" It's like, nope, he turned 99 last week.
Yeah.
Man, he better survive it to the end of Spaceballs 2, because the fact that they announced Spaceballs 2 and even gave us a little kind of like a preview opening crawl kind of piece, I think I'm excited for this. I really am. I'm hyped for it. Josh Gad is behind the process of the making of the film, along with
Right.
a lot of the other team. They're getting in a lot of the original actors back. They're apparently pulling Rick Moranis out of retirement,
Yeah.
which is huge, because
Well,
he
apparently he's been out of retirement for a couple of years, but just haven't
yeah,
had the
but
project that he wants to do.
yeah,
Like he
because he
said, he'd
didn't want
come
to
back.
reconnect with Ghostbusters, and that's
Right.
fair enough. That had
So
its
this is cool
time.
that he's doing this,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a blast just to
especially
see him.
if he plays like the big bad. If he plays like the Emperor type of like, he's gone. Dark Helmet is like gone even further. Like he's like more whatever. I don't know,
Yeah,
because they have so
I
much to play with.
yeah,
I was talking to a friend about this the other night.
yeah,
Um, a Spaceballs fan, and it's
yes,
just
yeah,
they have, because of the time. It came out so long ago. They have so much
material.
sci-fi and reboot and things to make fun of, like multiple
Sure.
different versions of like
Oh yeah,
whatever, Total Recall and
prequels,
everything.
sequels.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
the sequels. They have so much
yeah,
to make fun of that, like
yeah,
and it's nice to see comedies. I mean, like I think
yeah.
Naked Gun is going to do well only
But
because we haven't
that's
had
one of
lots
the
of
other
comedies.
ones. Yeah,
So like
absolutely.
I I bet Naked Gun is gonna do
Uh huh.
like shockingly well only
Yeah,
because people want to laugh their brains out.
yeah.
And
Totally.
we haven't had a crazy comedy in a long time, so
Yeah, and
I
the
it's kind
trailers.
of the perfect time to
The
release these.
Yeah, I also got to say, like, because I'm not going to play it here, but the trailer was innocently charming towards
Right,
the way the Naked Gun was. It wasn't
right.
forced too much. It seemed to have just an innocent
Wasn't
charm about it.
as raunchy or as but we haven't seen. They're just trailers, so we don't know what's going to happen in it. But
Yeah, yeah. For the Spaceballs, yeah, there's a lot of the cast returning for that. I'm excited, but yeah,
yeah, and everyone's coming out, and
yeah,
I really think it's just because it's a comedy. Even
yeah.
that poster of no AI
Oh,
was used in this poster. It's so spot
yeah.
on. That's like so perfect.
Oh, it's
It's like,
fantastic. Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah,
and
yeah,
with like a joke, a joke a minute type thing. It will do
yeah.
well with like the kids who like are like the TikTokers who like need
Sure.
something like 60-second like sense of humor, like like they lost their like they
Yeah.
only have a 60-second window of like
Uh huh.
you know
Yeah.
attention span. It's
Yeah.
just going to be nonstop
Yeah.
gags.
And
So
Liam Neeson, I've always enjoyed him. I think he's
yeah,
a lot of fun as an actor. So to see him play the straight man in the comedy, um, the way Leslie Nielsen played the character, obviously for the obviously now father character, uh, just yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I feel like the world feels depressing enough right now that it's always fun to get kind of like more comedies. So
that's what I'm saying.
Spaceballs in next
Yeah,
year, and yeah, as
good.
you
We
said,
need a bunch of comedies. Like
yeah,
just bring out any comedy. Like it will do well right now. Like if they can
yeah,
rush rush the
yeah,
comedies. Come on,
yeah,
please. We need to laugh at something
yeah. No, I agree.
other than our president.
Yeah, other stuff, little bits and pieces. These are all little tidbits here, but Odyssey, they dropped a poster for it. There's a trailer apparently coming out sometime very soon in the next couple of weeks. Um,
Seems like Nolan's making movies faster. Like
yeah,
you would think this would take like a long time to make, but he's pumping them out like a Spielberg, where it's just like I can make
right.
it in 2 months. You're like, damn.
Yeah, you're right. Because they finished shooting just recently. So about a week or two back, they finished shooting, and I was
Yeah,
like,
I
"Wow,
know, I
already?"
know.
Yeah,
For a Nolan movie, it's just like, geez,
hmm,
that's
yeah.
quick. Like
And his
you
films
think
are
it would
not.
like for an epic thing, but I guess everything.
Oh,
I know. I guess they're not like trekking the globe to like make these movies. They're just all on a soundstage or something. Like I don't know how they're making them, but
yeah. No, they're shooting in a couple of locations around the world. They are definitely they're shooting over in Greece in some of the areas. Not Greece. It was somewhere. It was somewhere over there. I can't
yeah.
remember. I'd read which. Sicily. It was Sicily. I think it was Sicily where they were shooting. Just to have the backdrops and that. But then again, Nolan doesn't do short films either. His films are usually about 3 hours long anyway. So
Yeah,
again,
I'm just
maybe
talking
he's
about
just
more
got
of the
this
process of
format.
filming.
Mm,
Like where
yeah,
you directors that like want to take their time to like
yeah,
make it
sure.
to make
Yeah,
the movie. David Fincher or whatever, like
yeah. Well, I've been excited for this since it was announced, so I'm kind of
80,
I'm
80,
looking
80
forward
takes
to
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
I like to see it be done. Like I've it's kind of a hard thing to nail and make interesting for me
Mhm.
is that kind of like time period or whatever Roman
the
time period.
the
Like
fantasy element of that because I mean, it
yeah,
is the
I mean
original fantasy
it's
story, isn't it?
historical and it's real, so that's the
Yeah,
cool. It's not fantasy. It's not like elves
right.
and leprechauns and stuff that like I don't tend to like. Um,
Yeah, but it's
I'm
it's
interested.
where the myths came from, Medusa and this and
Right?
that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
it's kind of it's again the original
The original
adventure, the
superhero.
original hero's journey, I should say,
Yeah.
which is really what it is. Um, other stuff coming out. Sinners is coming out on Max on July 4th. I never got the chance to see it in the big screen, but I hear it's very good. Did you see it in the end or not?
No, I didn't see this
Okay. All right. It's the one about the vampires, so it's supposed to be pretty good.
one.
What are your thoughts on this? The director of the Dune films is about to start the next James Bond film after he
Oh.
finishes Dune Messiah. I thought he did a great job with the Dune films, so I'm kind of curious to see how he takes on a James Bond film.
Two franchises I don't care about. James
Oh,
Bond has never
really?
been my thing. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not. I was never into James Bond. I mean,
I
I never got into James Bond.
I've watched
They were on
them
TV all the
all.
time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They were
Sure.
cheesy when I was a kid. When I was growing up,
Right.
it was
Fair enough.
cheesy. It was, the reruns. It was like Roger Moore or
Mm-hmm.
whatever his
Mm-hmm.
name is when I was a kid. It was like cheesy.
Yeah.
This is dumb.
Yeah.
It would look like Batman '66 to me or something. Just
Really.
looked dumb.
I
Um,
enjoyed the more recent ones with
and then Pierce Brosnan, like
yeah.
none of those. They were never interesting to
Pierce
me.
Brosnan was not good, but
I mean, they were
oh,
like I
mm,
just never got into it.
right.
So I was never into either. So rock on.
Yeah, that's what I keep
He can
hearing.
make
Yeah,
good movies.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Anyway, I'll be curious to see what he does with it because they kind of they closed off the door to oh, I forgot his name. Who played the last Bond?
Oh, right.
Ah, huh?
I know who you're
Yes.
talking about.
Yes. Oh my god,
whatever
mental
his name
block on
is.
his name. But yeah, they closed off that door and they've moved on from that kind of arc of stories. But and then of course
Changing
he's
it up.
also in the new Knives Out coming out soon too, which is number 3, which I'm
Oh,
looking
right.
forward to seeing. What else is there? Jude Law is apparently reportedly going to be returning to future Star Wars projects. So his character, at least, of Jod Nunnawood, who was the
Good.
pirate.
Yeah, good character.
Yeah, I could see that coming in. I enjoyed what they did with that show a lot. Spectre came out and the whole bar. So free to. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I saw all of the Bond films and the movies, and I saw all the Mission Impossibles in the theaters too, which unfortunately the last one was not terribly great. Okay, this is a big one. I know Max was here. If he was here, he'd be kind of raving about it. Sonyverse are reportedly canceling all of their
Jeez,
Spider-Man spin-off
about
films.
time.
I know, right?
Why were you doing that? Like, stop.
Yeah, I think because they're now gained a little bit more control back with the new Spider Verse stuff. I'm hoping they will do it right from here on and start creating the villains within the Spider-Man universe and outputting them, because right now it sounds like one of the characters crossing over now into the Spider-Verse of the Spider-Man movies, the live-action ones, I should say, with Tom Holland, is John Berthel. This is a couple of weeks old, of course, but he'll be returning as the Punisher in Spider-Man 4. How do you feel about that one?
Um, I don't know.
Okay.
Very different characters.
Right.
From how we've seen them. Like
Yeah.
he's so intense
Mm-hmm.
playing next to our Peter Park, this current Tom
Yeah.
Holland Spider-Man Peter Parker.
I think
How would
that'd be
that
great,
even
though.
interaction? How?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just the interaction alone, just a
Yeah.
basic conversation, like
Yeah.
they seem so far off from each other. It's like they would never. They just character-wise, they seem so far off from each other. Like what we
Right.
both that we have the same.
Yeah. Would you
What
say the
would
same
they?
thing about
I don't know.
Daredevil,
What would
though?
that conversation? How would they interact with each other? What's that?
Yeah. Well, would you say the same about Daredevil? Because Daredevil's on the same level as Punisher in some ways, yet they've already had him cross over. Because, well, not as Daredevil, obviously, but as Matt
No,
Murdock and
Daredevil has like some humanity. Uh, I don't know.
right.
Punisher's so like just kill him. Just he's
Yeah.
got no.
Uh huh.
There's no gray area. It's black or white. He's just like you're
Right.
done. You're
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Just boom.
So
Like
that would make him more of an enemy towards Spider-Man in the first
you
place.
would
So,
think
yeah.
that like Spider-Man just wouldn't play for that, or
Yeah.
like how would I don't know.
Yeah.
Just the conversation. They're two opposite. That like if they can make that work,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yes. Like if he's a separate character outside of
Yeah.
like Spider-Man's not dealing with him or interacting with him,
Right.
or
Right.
as that
Yeah.
much, I could see it working.
Uh
Some
huh. Yeah.
separate storyline.
Oh,
I don't know,
Chris,
but
I've
interesting
lost all
if
respect
they
for you
could pull
now.
it off. If
Just
they could
kidding.
pull it off, I think that would be cool.
Uh huh. Yeah. Hey there, Anchorman. How's it going? What are we catching up here? Kind of see Peter break him. I'd like to kind of see Peter break. Oh, have Peter Parker break the Punisher in the sense of like
Break him down with
break him
kindness.
down. It could be kind of yeah.
Kill him with kindness.
Oh, to the account. Okay, fair enough. Change his perspective. I don't know if that'll happen, but at the same time, I mean,
Oh,
uh, John Bertham really has a lot of dedication to this character. So I'm
for
hoping
sure,
that he
and that's
will
like
get to
great.
have a say in
Yeah.
what goes on
I'm
too.
sure they'll work it out, but I'm
Yeah,
interested to see how are they going to make that. Like
yeah,
how would that play out?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and of course they've got the Zendaya and Jacob Batalon returning as MJ and Ned. Obviously, we kind of gathered that would be a thing, although I don't know what role they'll play since they don't have any memory of Peter Parker. But it seems like they're kind of getting ready to start shooting this film already at this point. Or have they already started? I can't remember.
Well, it will be different. I mean, even like
Yeah.
whatever, like the font, even the
Mm.
font is different. So it's kind of telling you, hey, this
Mm.
is going to be kind of a different
Oh yeah.
movie, like that,
Yeah. Brand new day.
going a different way. So
Yeah.
Spider-Man, brand new day. It's not even
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no homecoming, no nothing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
This is one of those things though where again they're pushing it out so quickly that I know they've been in pre-production for a while, but it's still shoot it, get it out there, and it's out there in July of next year. It's like it's so quick, it's so pushed. I hope they don't
that's
mess it up, especially with Sony backing off
the
from.
way filmmaking is done now.
Yeah. Well, I'm
We'll give
glad
you a
that
month to
Sony
shoot
are.
it. You're like 4 weeks.
Yeah, but I am glad that Sony are backing off all these other useless film stories that they're doing. They just thank God, because I really haven't enjoyed any of them. Despite the fact that Venom did well in the box office and it did better overseas, I personally just didn't connect with it. It just didn't work for me
Oh,
as a thing.
I feel
I,
you. Didn't
yeah.
connect so much that I didn't
Hmm.
even go to the theater to try to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I watched the first two and that was it. The third
Only
one I
once.
didn't even see. Yeah. Fair
No.
enough.
Yeah.
Also, Matt Reeves has finished the script for the Batman 2, which
Okay.
according to James Gunn, he has not yet had the chance to read it because he's doing a lot of Superman promo stuff around the world and a lot of marketing and stuff like that. So I assume when Superman comes out, he'll sit down and have a read of the script, and they'll hopefully move forward from there to shoot it next year. If that, or shoot it later this year into next year. Um, if Venom ended through Marvel, better keeping Tom Hardy. Uh I'm okay either way. I'm not a huge Tom Hardy fan. I just wasn't a fan of the humor in that film personally. So the things that just didn't work for me as much. Um, I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to expect from what they'll do in the future. Um, we'll see. Maybe Tom Hardy's a completely different actor too. Being who knows? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. Probably
Yeah.
not. I don't know. Who knows? They've got the liberty of changing actors now that they're changing things in the universe. Yeah. Fantastic Four's got a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes. I am very excited for this film, and I know Superman comes out
Nice.
first, but that comes out like 2 weeks after Superman, and I'm I'm excited. We're gonna go see it. We're gonna go check it out,
Yeah, I'm
and
definitely more excited for Superman. Yeah,
I'm
definitely
excited for
excited for more
both of them.
Superman.
Yeah,
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 I'm sure Fantastic Four will be surprisingly good. Like
yeah,
I'm not expecting it to be bad, but
yeah.
who knows? It's a hard group. It's hard. They're hard characters to crack. I think.
Yeah, I feel like just the vibe of this formula looks good, but then it's
Right.
about how they transition into the MCU at that
Yeah.
point
How does that all
onwards,
work?
because there is obviously a transition period that's going to happen either at the end of the film or into the next set of movies, which, of
Right.
course, at that point they jump straight into Doomsday and all that. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I hope they kind of get that ball rolling. I still haven't had the chance to watch um, Ironheart yet. The first 3 episodes dropped last week. I believe the
Oh yeah.
next
I have
three
kind of no
air
interest in watching that.
this week. I'm gonna check it out. I just haven't had the time to also check it out. But I also want to check out Squid Games, and there's a few things that I have not caught up. You having Pedro fatigue for
Page
multiple
Joker.
reasons? Yeah, I kind
I'm gonna
of
grab some water real
agree.
quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. Chris, this I kind of agree with you. I think that he's a talented actor. Obviously, he's a talented actor, and it's cool to see him getting multiple roles. I I still quite don't see him as Mr. Fantastic. I don't know what I would have expected from him that is going to be different than what we've seen before. So I don't know. I mean, and again, it's not like he's a bad actor. He just, uh, you know, and don't even bother with that. I'm gonna check it out anyway. Although I have to admit, I still haven't caught up with Echo yet either. So it's like, yeah. Basically, what is happening is finally Disney are sitting back and going, yeah, the TV stuff for both the MCU and for Star Wars is just not profitable. It was profitable when COVID was going on because people would sit down, watch something it'd be fresh in their mind. They couldn't go out that night. They'd watch it again, and you get multiple viewings and stuff like that. And as time has gone on, all of these shows are unfortunately just not, whether they're good or bad, it doesn't matter. They're not getting the repeat viewing that they would have had a few years ago. So it feels like, from what I can tell, Ahsoka season 2 is going to be the last wave of the Star Wars stuff coming out, and or surprisingly, according to the Nielsen ratings, did not do that well. In fact, it got a lower view factor, supposedly, than Skeleton Crew, which was very low as well. So I don't know what's going on with I've never liked the
That's
Nielsen
weird that
ratings.
Skeleton Crew hasn't picked up viewership.
Yeah,
It's weird that Skeleton Crew hasn't
yeah.
picked up ratings after people have watched
Right.
it, like repeat
Yeah.
repeat viewing or new viewership,
Yeah.
like numbers, because that was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean, and of course, Andor was phenomenal, but apparently the repeating viewership still is not as strong as what it could have been. I think that might be a global thing.
It's just there's a lot to watch now.
Well, that's
know?
the other thing too. There's a lot
It's
to
just
watch.
like there's so much
yeah.
to watch. Anytime like when you finish something, you're like, oh, you're waiting for the next thing to come out
Right.
or to drop or
Yeah.
whatever. So you're like, should I watch this again?
Right.
It's more of like, and then there's so much stuff. So like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things to rewatch if you're going to go on that route. It's like you
Right.
could be rewatching stuff like all the time, which is what I tend to do.
You know, not people watch Rebels. You're talking about in the sense of animation compared to live action, there, Chris, or are you referring to that the characters in Rebels being in Ahsoka kind of threw a lot of people when they watched Ahsoka, so it wasn't a well perceived set of stories and characters. And yeah, I can understand that. At the same time, Andor really didn't rely on any of those Rebels characters at all, and yet it still had a very low, it dealt with quality, yet it still had a low ratings. Either way, I'm still hoping next year they put them on the big screen. I hope, some of the Andor stuff. We'll see. Because they were talking about it at one point as a possibility. Yeah, I mean, Star Wars news has been relatively quiet recently. There's just really not to fill in on. We've got
Good. We
Mandalorian
need
and
Star Wars
Grogu
breaks.
next year.
There needs to be breaks.
Oh, no, you're right.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like,
and we've got that.
Breaks. Like,
Yeah,
we're just like, look, we don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. We haven't heard.
Well,
Then something comes. Like, because
Star Wars, yeah.
there's always some bait
Yeah.
floating out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're referring to the Ahsoka ratings. Yeah, that was a thing. And they were going down before that. Book of Boba Fett kind of took the ratings down as well. So people were losing interest in not watching as much Star Wars. And the same with the MCU stuff, too. It became... The general audience was losing their interest of continuing or coming back to it when they could suddenly go out on a Saturday night and they weren't stuck at home with COVID kind of thing. So, yeah. There's definitely that. Yeah. And then Superman comes out in 2 weeks' time.
Oh man.
The final cut of Superman has been described as a live-action episode of the Superman animated series. I'm really down for that. I am excited for that because I did love the animated series. Did you see that little scene that they dropped last week with Superman being pissed at Lex about Crypto? He's coming in looking for his dog.
I just saw the very beginning of it. Like, I didn't want to see that. Like, I saw the trailers. I saw enough. Like, now, like, now they always do this coming up to movies like this when they want to, like,
really push it.
Someone's on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever. Like, oh, here, which I think was the situation or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they're on a talk show or whatever. Oh, here, check out the scene. You're like, no, not that scene. Like, I don't want to see anything. Like, they did a really good job of setting it up. Like,
completely agree. And I only watched that
and
because
apparently
it was everywhere. But yeah.
Apparently, that first thing that they shot, that is the beginning of the movie with Superman hitting the ice, hitting the snow, and like.
I don't know about that. Oh, I didn't.
Well, that's what they mentioned at the beginning, like, oh, this could possibly, like, some people,
right. We assumed it might have been,
so
but
I guess that's the opening scene.
Right. Okay.
I think I heard something where, like, they confirmed that that's the opening scene.
Oh, really? Okay, all right.
So
I wasn't
yeah,
aware of that, but um, in the sense of,
spoilers.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not going to talk about the scene that they showed because it's only a 30-second clip, and I agree that we're
Right,
definitely
which I
getting
didn't
way
even.
too many
I just
clips.
saw something. I'm like, nope, nope. I
Yeah,
looked,
yeah.
changed
Because it's
the,
only a two.
turned it off.
It's a little under a 2-hour film. It's not that long. It's
Right,
not like
right.
if they've already
You
showed us
add up
about
all
6 minutes
those.
of film
Yes,
between now and the film coming out. No, I
yeah.
get you there. But
You
I
start
will
adding
say
it up.
something in what I saw in that scene. The performance from Corn Sweat
They're great. They're good.
is phenomenal,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which I
and
don't
the
want to
actor
know. I don't.
playing,
I
yeah,
haven't seen enough, so I don't want
yeah,
to see more. I don't want
right,
to see more than I saw.
right. But it
It's
is
so
a
close
it,
now.
yeah,
It's
oh yeah,
now I just kind of like forget about it.
yeah. No, it is going to be a testament
So
to action, to acting and performance. So I think in this movie, people are going on, and this is prediction here, but people are
it's
saying they don't want a
just needs to,
comedy
you
kind of
just
thing
need to
like
be
Guardians of the Galaxy or
yeah.
whatever. They want to see, and I think this is Superman's going to James Gunn's going to do Superman right. I feel very comfortable with
That's
this
all we
film.
want.
Yeah,
If you're just you want to be
yeah,
whatever you want to be,
yeah.
make it believable, make it captivating,
Mm-hmm.
and make it fun to watch.
Yep.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
it's going to be all of those things. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to how much I like it.
Yeah.
I'm very.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. So
Yeah.
that one I will definitely see a couple of times in the theater. Like I know
Yeah.
I need to see it in the IMAX, which I've.
Right.
I should have got that ticket the same day, but I didn't. So
Well,
now I know
we're seeing the 2 p.m. Thursday screening.
on
I think it is.
Thursday. Yes, we're
Yeah.
seeing it
Mm-hmm.
on the 10th,
The 10th.
not on
Yes. Oh,
which is the day
correct. But it
before, like
come.
the Thursday. Like
Yeah.
it's Thursday. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
saying it comes out on the 11th. That's
Yes.
the
Correct.
day
Yeah.
that it comes out
The,
on, like
yeah.
scheduled to come out. So
Yeah.
we're seeing it
Yeah.
on the 10th.
Yeah.
We're seeing it like
Yes.
before the first
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
first showing. So.
Yeah. No, that's. Yeah.
And like I
I'm
said, when I
so hyped
got
for that.
those tickets, like
Yeah.
when I got those tickets, I was just randomly looking, like
Mhm.
I didn't, and they were just available. Like
Oh, yeah. They
and then
dropped early
yeah,
that day.
like
Yeah.
30 minutes after I got them,
Yeah.
then I was getting a little ads saying, then the reminder tickets are available, and then I started looking for them other
Yeah.
days, and they were all
Yeah.
available. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Still, I mean, that's cool. I'm breaking off work. I'm not going. If I have work that day, I'm not going to work. It's as
I'm like,
simple
yeah,
as that.
this is-
This is something interesting. Apparently, James Gunn says that there is no WB logo attached to the beginning of Superman,
cool.
which is interesting. So they're keeping it strictly DC. So there's definitely this division in Warner Brothers right now, and that's a good thing, I think.
Oh, go
Let
back
the
to that.
creatives.
Does it say DC? They're DC film. No
It's
Warner
DC
Brothers.
Studios.
DC
Yeah.
Studios. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
DC
Yeah.
Studios.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's still funding for it,
Interesting.
but usually Superman's opened with a Warner Brothers logo of some sort, and
I know, but
apparently
that's
it's
kind of setting the stone of
hmm
like Marvel Studios, like
sure.
Iron
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
Marvel
completely.
Studios. Like, stop thinking Warner Brothers because this is
Yeah,
now DC Studios.
yeah, yeah,
So I kind of like that.
yeah. Jumping back to Star Wars for a
That's
second,
cool.
Chris. Yes, I did see Diego Luna and Alan Tudyk on the Jimmy Kimmel as in the Stormtrooper uniforms. I swear to God, if I saw them in the street, I would immediately pick
If
up Diego Luna's voice straight
they
away.
they did the same thing with Camel like years ago
Yes,
in a
yes, yeah,
stormtrooper was talking to people on, and you're
yeah.
like, that's Mark
I
Hamill's
remember
voice.
that.
Like you
Yeah,
know it's Mark Hamill.
yeah,
Like you would
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I watch some of these things sometime because
Hmm.
Kimball is just like over the hill from where I live. It's like directly
Yeah,
over the hill.
yeah,
So I'm just like, man, I should go walk around there one of these
yeah,
weekdays to just be like,
yeah,
see if
yeah. They shot all
because
that on Hollywood Boulevard, I think, didn't they?
yeah, but they
Yeah,
talk to
yeah,
people and they do like talk
yeah,
whatever contests or whatever
yeah. You're
people
right.
on the street.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, I mean, he was on the. I didn't watch the full episodes, but he was hosting there. But same time.
Yeah, I think he did a
Uh,
full week. Like Jimmy Kimball's on vacation, so he's got
yeah,
like guest hosts for the
yeah.
week.
And yes, Anchorman, you're right. Yes, I mean, well, okay. Mark Hamill did say, yes, this is it. He feels like he's done with Star Wars. There's no reason or need for him to go back to it, unless they pay him more money. But at the same time, I think he genuinely had a experience with Star Wars on a personal level that did not live up to expectation of his character by the time the sequels had finished, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that last movie broke him because
Yeah.
he had to do as he was asked because he's an
Yeah.
actor and he's got like integrity that it's not like
Yeah.
I'm sure he complained and
Yeah.
he said his points and he wasn't being listened to about like how
Mm-hmm.
Luke Skywalker should be addressed, and that's unfortunate because you could tell like he kind of lost
Yeah.
his
Oh, yeah.
enthusiasm and
He lost the will to live.
yeah, they really screwed over Luke. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah,
the worst
they did.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
no,
tough
I do
because
agree.
that is probably the best of the
Yeah.
Sequels
Yeah.
trilogy, but also only because it has Luke in it. But
Yeah.
also, I don't like what they did with Luke. So like,
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I
it's
know.
weird. It's a weird feeling. It's like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of the best out of the three because
Yeah.
Luke's in it and it kind of revolves around him. But like, they
Yeah.
just it's like why?
I know.
Ugh.
I know. Well, when we were on
Star
when we were on
Wars.
Jason's channel the other night, after you left
It's
on
such
the
a
on
after I
yeah
left.
yeah after you left, we were tuning out at the end of the night. I actually stuck around for the end of the night,
Sometimes it goes
and
so late. It's just like I
yeah, I
can't
know.
do it.
Yeah, usually I was actually pretty rested that day. So, but we started playing the clip from pick another target, a military target, and we actually picked like a 2 minute long scene right leads up to it, and we were having so much fun. It was like, yeah, you know what? We are gonna sit down and we are gonna do not just a reaction to Star Wars, Empire and Jedi, and then we're gonna do the prequels, and we're gonna do the sequels, but we're gonna just do like a sit down and really not like a. I want to be able to like nitpick at things, but I want to be able to have fun with it at the same time, and then edit that fun stuff together. So I think we're going to do a reaction to the Star Wars trilogies.
I've been wanting to do this for a long time.
I know.
It takes a little work because we
Yeah.
all kind of need to be one
Yeah, we
at
need to
one
be.
location.
It's very hard.
So like
yeah.
we all go to Jason's and we all need to be mic'd,
We could do that. Yeah. Yeah,
and we need to
that would
all
be
be
tough
watching the
too.
film together, like so that like we
Yeah.
can get clean audio, what everybody's
Yeah.
saying, and
Yeah.
either record ourselves. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Because I can always
do
edit.
correctly.
Yeah, I can always edit everything in post as long as I've got a starting point and a to
Right.
put the edit in. But it's something that we should definitely do. I want to do that, and we can still do it online if we had to, kind of thing. But yeah, there's something more personal about sitting there face to face, kind of thing.
I mean, we should really do it at your place because you have the backdrop of like Star Wars everything, so that would make it
Yeah.
like the video cool or whatever.
It's possible.
You
I
could
mean, it's
fit
hard for
enough
Jason
of us
too.
in
He's
there.
got a kid and everything. So, but either
I
way,
know that's what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
Jason's got and
Yeah.
would probably for camera would probably look whatever. He's got more.
Yeah,
to
well, that's the
his
thing.
place,
I don't
but-
have the, but yeah, it's just maybe we'll just do the online thing. But jumping back to
Anyways, I
Superman
like
just
that
quickly.
idea. We
Yeah.
should have done that a long time ago. We should.
I know.
Nothing
We still
that
should.
there's nothing that holds us back from doing other things like that.
No.
Back to the Future
Yeah.
and other series. 'Cause
Yeah,
if we're
no,
just
you're
doing
right.
that,
You're right.
then
Yeah,
it can be released at any time, and people watch.
yeah,
There's
Yeah.
always people reviewing stuff. So
yeah, yeah,
add another one to
Makes
the list.
yeah. Just jumping back to Superman very quickly. There's some really cool posters coming in from the different Screen X, 4DX, IMAX, Dolby, doing the retro versions like the old Superman, posters that they used to do for the Richard Donner kind of based look and vibes. Ones from overseas. So there's a lot of things going on with Superman. Biggest thing.
Yeah, I like
that,
all of those posters. All those posters are cool. I like
Yeah.
the imagery and the
Yeah.
marketing and
Yeah. And the one last thing on Superman here is I really want to drive past the Warner Brothers Tower now.
oh yeah,
You can see
Yeah,
the
I mean,
tower
it's right
from
by
the
my
street.
house.
Yeah, you can see the tower from the street. So apparently they've done it up already. So I'm really hyped for Superman. I'm excited to see excellent performances. I'm excited to see a James Gunn story that is not a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of, constant humor in your face vibe, which works so well, but I want to see something with Superman that is true, traditional, and has the vibe of the animated series in some ways that I didn't love so much. So yeah,
I'm
we'll definitely,
excited.
yeah, that's
Just
it.
it's like the whole vibe, like how like like
Hmm.
everything. I think we can agree
Yeah,
that all the
yeah,
James Gunn stuff has a certain vibe and flair and like
yeah,
look to it and all that stuff.
yeah.
So I can't see it
Totally.
being bad. It's gonna.
No.
It seems like it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and as
Just
for all the
how
haters
awesome
out
will it
there,
be?
yeah,
Hopefully, it's really awesome.
yeah. I mean, we're going to get a Supergirl film coming up next year, so it's like, I'm looking forward to seeing this live action universe come to fruition a lot more, and and just excited for that. Anyway, man, that's about all the things I had to drop and talk about. Anything else you can think of? Otherwise, we might call it finished.
Yeah, call it a day.
You just went quiet for a second.
Oh yeah, call it a day. I'm good. I think we've covered
Okay.
all we need to.
Yeah, that's about been all the last couple of weeks kind of thing. I don't know if we'll be live next week, but we'll definitely go live once we've seen Superman, because that'll be a big one. That's something we really want to talk about, unless there's any other big news between now and next week. But I've just been busy with stuff and getting things together and all that. So yeah, all right, guys. Everyone out there in the chat who joined us live, please, thank you so much. Please, I mean, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Uh,
for joining us.
yes, thank you for joining us, and please, if
Yay!
you're watching this post, please like and subscribe.
Like,
It always helps.
subscribe.
We're getting
How
so
many? How
close
many
to a
people?
thousand
How many
subscribers. Like
thousand?
we're at
Just subscribe.
958 subscribers. So it's like I want to get 1,000 subscribers so we can monetize. Like yeah, get
Oh
people
yeah.
into
Yeah.
get people into to
Oh,
monetize it,
share.
especially going into next
Share.
year, because next year we've got the Star Wars movie. We've got all anyway, whatever. We've got cool stuff. All right,
Hey,
guys,
you
we'll
know what?
catch you all
Actually, we
later.
should do
Oh yeah,
real quick. We should
yeah.
do a Superman. Why don't we, like you said we were going to do Star Wars? Why don't we just do a
Hmm.
Superman before before Superman's released? Like if we could sit down and watch Superman, that would be
The
kind of fun. Just
you talk
like
about the Richard Donner one.
Richard Donner, yeah.
We could. It's really hard to necessarily react to that sometimes because it's
Is it?
maybe maybe not. I don't know. Possibly, we'll see.
The movie's awesome.
Yeah, it's the problem is of course getting the time to edit and do stuff and all that and getting
Hey,
everyone
you're
together.
talking
We'll see.
about getting more people to view it.
No, I
I'm
know, I
talking
know,
about
I know, I
timing,
know. Yeah,
and you got to
yeah,
time this stuff. It's like
yeah. I
Superman
know. Yeah,
reaction to the new Superman, before the Superman
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Hey, I'm
Usually though,
just trying to
it's
help,
hard to
buddy.
get. Yeah, okay. All right, well, maybe we'll look into it. So we'll see.
Not nice
I
saying.
definitely want to do
I'm
Star
just
Wars.
saying. I'm just
All right.
suggestion.
All right. Cool
Star
guys.
Wars for sure.
We will catch you all later.